Hold on a second. Hold on for a second. I'm trying to go live with chat and go live. There we go. Instagram. All right, so there we go. Hi, everybody. I am doing a random live. As you can see. I'm gonna go. So I didn't put anything up on Instagram. Let me see if I can get myself to think like I'm going on Instagram. Um, okay, that's good. All right, hi y'all. My bad. I was trying to do the new feature with Instagram and go live on Instagram. But I'm live. This is not a pre-recording. However, I will probably record this and post this later on another one of my podcasts. But I wanted to just do another reaction video on another topic, which is student loans. You guys know I talk about that pretty often. So we're going to go into it. So what we're going to do, just to give you a heads up, this is going to be dumb long. All right, it's going to be dumb long. I'll chop it up in another video. So feel free to just watch me, leave, come back, whatever. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. I would recommend if you want your name to show up, definitely click the link with StreamYard so I can see your name. Other than that, and just say blah, blah, blah user. So if you know me and you're like calling me the next day, like how come you ain't say nothing back to me? It's because I didn't know who you were because you didn't join the thing. So whatever. Now we're gonna talk about we're gonna watch Biden talk about this new $1 billion student loan debt relief thing. Usually I talk about these things with y'all, but I don't like show live video, and I don't want y'all to feel like I'm just pulling this out my ass. I know you don't think so, but still, this is some real stuff. It's 2 months old. I think he made this announcement 2 months ago. Let me share my screen with y'all. He made this announcement 2 months ago, and I probably should have spoke on it sooner, but a lot of y'all are still coming to me with student loan debt. A lot of y'all are still coming to me having issues and problems. And I'm like, yo, what's up with Biden's shit? And I don't know. A lot of y'all still haven't gotten forgiven. Some have. Some are waiting. So I'm going to literally hear his announcement. I'm going to pause it in between time. That's why it's already a long announcement. As is, I'm only going to show when he's talking about student loans because then he gets into other shit. Okay, so it's not going to be too long, but I will be interjecting myself and saying opinions or whatever. All right. So let me get over there, and if y'all have any questions or concerns, anything you particularly want to talk about, just go ahead and leave a comment. All right.
Turning to student debt relief. When I ran for president, I vowed to fix our broken student loan program. Because while college degree is still the ticket to the better life.
The video itself is like grainy, as you can see. This is from CNN, by the way. CNN News is grainy and the volume is a little bit off. It's like they needed to lower it a little bit and it would have been clear. So if you can't hear it, just say something, let me know. But you should be able to hear it. It's not too bad.
Life. That ticket has become excessively expensive. Americans who are saddled with unsustainable debt in exchange for a college degree has become the norm. Since my administration has taken significant action to provide student debt relief to as many borrowers as possible as quickly as possible. That starts with making sure the existing system works in the way it was supposed to work for student borrowers. We fixed what was called the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, which was designed originally to make sure school teachers, firefighters, social workers, and other public servants can get their student loans forgiven.
Okay, so I'm intentionally pausing right there. He is talking about an income-driven repayment plan. With that IDR, there's many options. I talked to you about that, and one of them Actually, it's the IDRs for public service, but there's also a forgiveness for teachers, like he's talking about. My issue, which always been my issue, is how he makes it seem like he's fixing something that was broken, and it was never broken. It was out there, just people didn't know it existed. So that's what they, in my opinion, need to take credit for and take responsibility for, not a so-called broken system. Like he's not saving us from something. It's something that they should have informed all the teachers, but they didn't. So we're stuck with a lot of debt, unfortunately.
If they make 10 years of payments and do 10 years of public service, by the time I took office, that program had been in place for nearly 15 years. But because of red tape, only 7,000 borrowers had been helped. Well, today, thanks to the reforms, more than 700,000 borrowers have had their debts forgiven. Just the other day, I spoke with Tanya and Chad, a married couple in their 50s, who both work at public high school in Milwaukee. For years, they paid over $800 a month toward their student loans. It meant they couldn't put away any money for retirement. And this summer, thanks to fixes we made to the debt relief program for people in public service, Chad and Tanya's remaining balance was forgiven. Tanya said, quote, "The amount of relief this gives us is indescribable," end of quote.
Okay. Tanya would have been able to say that about 10 years ago if she was aware of the IDR. Okay. Her and her husband wouldn't have been suffering like this. It's IDR, it's been out there for quite some time. And they just do not tell you that you can be forgiven, that this exists, that this only takes 30 days. So again, he's trying to make himself seem like a savior when he's not, but whatever, I digress.
Now they can finally start savings for retirement. Next, we fixed what's called the income-driven payment repayment program. Here's how that works. If you have an undergraduate loan, after 20 years of straight paying, not missing paying the debt on a monthly basis, whatever is left of your loan is forgiven after 20 years. But because of administrative failures, some people who did pay their loans for 20 years or more did not get the debt relief they had earned. We fixed that and made sure borrowers got credit for every single payment they made. As a result of these changes, today I'm announcing my administration has approved an additional $9 billion in relief for 125,000 borrowers.
Okay, so again, I'm not a fan of your President Biden, if you haven't figured that out already. I'm not a fan. He is talking clearly about the income-driven repayment plan. Again, that has always been out for everybody. It takes literally 30 days for this whole process to work. Your debt could have been corrected and forgiven within 30 days. Here's the thing. You could have also, he's talking about if you didn't miss a payment for 20, 30 years. I don't know too many people, unless they just had it like that, that didn't miss a payment in 20 or 30 years. And he's talking about basically if you paid on time for 20 or 30 years, the government would have forgiven you for the balance. But that's what was supposed to happen anyway. And then there's so many options under the IDR program. So if you go under the IDR program, you can make your loan look like you did not miss any payments in 20 years within 30 days. So if you did miss payments, if it wasn't collections and charge-offs, blah, 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 you can get that fixed. You can get on the IDR. Once you're approved within 30 days, it will show the whole life of your loan that you never missed a payment. And then you depending on how you completed the application, you can have a monthly payment for basically the rest of the loan or the life of the agreement for as low as $2, $1, $5, $100 a month, $0 a month. Okay. And then that continues for X amount of time. And then part of the IDR might be like 15 years, 10 years. Imagine doing that every year and having a zero balance every year, and it's showing you're paying $0 a month, $5 a month for all these years, right? And then after a certain time, it drops off, and any balance that wasn't actually paid is forgiven. That's what has always been out here. That's what I've been telling y'all about already. You can check out my other videos. But again, he's not super saver student. This has been out in the streets. The system has failed y'all. If you were in a situation where your student loans have been messed up, because they should have been forgiven a long time ago. They should have been, they dropped the ball on that. He admitted that, but they should have encouraged everyone as soon as you graduated. Hey, by the way, hopefully you can get a job within the next 2, 3 years with your degree. If you can't and you're struggling, join up, get on an income driven repayment plan. Okay? So your credit's not going to mess up. They're not going to tell you that. But anyway, let's keep going. I'm mad passionate about it because it's ridiculous.
In just the past few weeks under that program. With the latest debt cancellation in total, my administration has canceled $127 billion in student debts for nearly 3.6 million Americans. This kind of relief is life-changing for individuals and their families, but it's good for our economy as a whole as well. By freeing millions of Americans from the crushing burden of student debt, it means they can go and get their lives in order.
Why didn't they free these student loan applicants? Why didn't they free these students years ago? Why? I answer that. But believe it or not, I watched some of this and I watched to the end, and nobody asked them any questions about student loans, and that's a problem. And this is a continuing problem. Nobody's challenging the government with student loans. We're just rolling over and just being excited that he's saving us. That's what I'm hearing. But okay, go ahead.
They can think about buying a house. They can start a business. They can be starting a family.
Okay, sorry. I got it. I told you I was gonna say my little opinions. He's talking about so they could buy a house and start a business or whatever. Here's the thing: if you guys get your student loans removed and you're trying to start a business and you don't have that much credit and you don't have that much history, getting rid of your student loans is removing a trade line that could be extremely beneficial for you when you're trying to get business credit. So let's say, for example, like I said before in my past videos, business credit is going to match what you have on your personal side. So let's say you have a trade line of a student loan. Your student loan is worth $150,000, right? All your other credit might be 10,000 credit cards, $10,000 credit cards here and there. Business credit ain't going to bump with you like that. You're not going to get the numbers that you want. But if they see that you've made on-time payments for umpteen years, 20 years, 15 years, 30 years, whatever, however old your trade line is or your student loan is, and it's 100% no missed payments because you did the income driven repayment plan, then the business credit is going to match that, if not exceed that. If he is removing it from your credit report, I understand, not your credit report, I'm saying the same credit report, but if he deletes the student loan, it's as if you never had any student loan at all and you had no debt that you were paying on. This is a free trade line that you worked hard for. So it's not going to help you get business if it's gone. So whatever. Yeah, don't get so don't take this so personal because you went to school for years and you have blood, sweat, and tears, and this is like a badge of honor of some sort that you have this student loan. No, that's not the case. Okay. Keep it, flip it, make it positive, and then go after credit. Don't let him take it away from you.
This matters. It matters with their daily lives. This latest progress builds on other steps we've taken. We made the largest increase in Pell Grants in over a decade, helping students and families making less than $60,000 a year get to college. We made additional improvements in the income-driven repayment program. Before I took office, student borrowers would pay no more than 10% of their discretionary income on a monthly basis if they wanted to do it that way. But under my administration's plan, which is called SAVE Plan, we reduced that to 5% for undergraduate borrowers. It's now the most generous repayment program ever. Under this plan, no one with an undergraduate loan today or in the future, whether at a community college or a four-year college, will have to pay more than 5% of their discretionary income to repay these loans. That's income after you pay for necessities like housing, food, and other necessities.
Okay, that sounds really good. I do like what he said about the Pell Grant. I know when I went to college for 5 minutes, I went and got grants. So I never had student loans. And that was due to the Pell Grant. And yes, I was an undergraduate and things like that. So yeah, there's grant money. There's a lot of loans and grants that you can get. I do. I see where he's talking, where he's going with that. What I don't respect, and I need more information on, is if he's saying a percentage of your income, what income is he going by? Is he going by household income? Is it strictly your income? When I do income-driven repayment plans for my clients, what I do is not illegal, but I play around with the numbers to make sure my clients have the lowest possible monthly income. I mean, monthly payment when it comes to their student loans. So if you have, if you're a high wage earner, this is not going to be beneficial to you, right? If you and your husband are high wage earners, whichever that may be, your monthly is still going to be high, even with that percentage that he's talking about. So the goal is to fill out the application accordingly. Problem is, not everybody knows how to fill out the application, so they have a month of extremely absurdly low monthly income, monthly payment. Sorry, monthly payment. So nobody's getting that part. It's nice what he's saying. I see the effort, but once you get to the meat and potatoes of it, I wind up having more questions than answers. So.
You can sign up for the SAVE plan at studentaid.gov/save. Studentaid-gov, studentaid-gov/save. And remember, if you keep up your payments after 20 years, whatever's left in those loans is forgiven. And we're still not done. As you might remember, last year I announced.
I'm sorry. So the SAVE program, I did a video on that, is a different version of the income-driven repayment plan. What I do not like about the SAVE program is the fact that it's permanent. Whatever agreement that you have under that IDR, you're going to have to stick with it for the rest of the term. And the reason why I don't particularly like that is because there's so many different options under the IDR. You can actually change which one you are part of as time goes on. Also, the SAVE program, which is the revitalized version of one of the IDRs, which is the worst IDR, but they just flipped it. That came out of the being in deferment due to the pandemic. So basically what happened was, and I talked about this in another video, I'll link it or whatever, but basically during the pandemic, student loans was deferred, zero balance, everybody has a perfect student loan, but then they let you know when it was about to be over, hey, you need to figure out what you're going to do because October 10th, 2024, you're going to owe us some bread. And if you don't pay us for that month as of November 1st, we're going to start reporting missed payments and late payments. And in certain cases, we're going to revert your whole student loan back to what it was prior to the pandemic, right? So if you were had mad latenesses before, they're back now. If you were in collections, you're in collections again. But they made this SAVE program as for you to monkey bar from being deferred into the SAVE program. But the SAVE program, like I said, out of all the income-driven IDR income-driven repayment options you had, it was the worst one. It was the most expensive one, the one that had the highest monthly. I did a breakdown on that. I'll just resurface that joint just so people can pay attention. And you have to stick with that. But here's the thing. What if there's life changes and your income changes and you can't stick to that monthly agreement if you had a monthly agreement? What if you went under the SAVE program, you didn't know how to properly fill out the application so you could have a low monthly and you're paying like $200-300? I mean, I'm not counting anybody's pockets. That's a lot for some. It's nothing for others, right? But what if you're one of the some that $200-300 a month for the next 15 years, 10 years is too much for you, all right? And then you lose your job and you have to pay that. And if you default on it, then it messes up, right? You can't change it. That's the problem with the new save joint. But if you had the other, if you didn't go on save, you could just still pick another income driven repayment plan. Say what you gotta say, keep it low, monthly, $0 a month, $5 a month, whatever the case may be. And if you have life changes, just change the income driven repayment plan to something else. It's okay. All right. But you just can't do that with the save. So be careful.
Announced a major proposal for student debt relief. We're on the verge of providing more than 40 million Americans with real relief from their student debt. The money was literally about to go out the door, but Republican elected officials and special interests stepped up and sued us. The Supreme Court sided with them, snatching from the hands of millions of Americans thousands of dollars in debt and student debt relief that was about to change their lives. As I said at the time, I believe the court's decision to strike down my student debt relief program was wrong, but I promised I wouldn't give up. Since then, my administration has been pursuing a new approach, grounded and under a different law, the Higher Education Act. This act allows the Secretary of Education to compromise, waive, or release loans under certain circumstances. Last week, the Department of Education took a critical step in this process by identifying specific challenges that borrowers face in the current system, so we can move forward with a new rule to address these changes. For example, there are many borrowers who have made payments for many years, but because of interest, they still owe more than they originally borrowed. My administration is doing everything it can to deliver student debt relief to as many as we can, as fast as we can. This is in contrast to House Republicans who helped block the previous debt relief.
Okay, so he's pointing fingers here, in my opinion. He's going back and forth. He's saying we're trying our best, we're doing what we can do, and blah 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 and whatnot. Therefore, R2. And okay, cool, 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 cool. But they're pointing fingers. Listen, you can get your student loan discharged if you have a disability, if you have medical issues. If it's not you with the medical issues, if it's somebody else in your household with medical issues, you can get your student loan forgiven. You don't have out whatever the hell he's talking about. Again, this is something that's been out in these streets. This isn't anything. It's nothing new. I know what they're doing. I understand they're playing the blame game and everything, but this is all politics. But it's never a good thing to forgive this much debt nationwide. It does not help our economy. I'll get into that maybe another day. I mean, if y'all want to tussle in the comments with me, so be it. But it's never a good thing. But because they're doing it, it's obviously for political reasons, but it's also other issues. They're only going to do it if it benefits them. And what that does is, again, this instead of perfecting this and making this a positive trade line on your credit report and improving your situation, it's taking away debt for you and it's making it harder for you. So it's basically like on the front end, we're going to help you, but on the back end, we're going to hurt you. They're going to get you either way. Okay. All right. Let me continue to play this.
Relief plan. It nearly shut down the government over the extreme demands, which would have hurt hardworking families. But they had no problem with the Paycheck Protection Program. Remember that? The PPP program during the last several years,
Of course we know that.
which was designed to help business owners who lost money, which was legitimate because of the pandemic. Members of Congress got over hundreds of thousands of dollars in order because their businesses lost money. That wasn't it was a worthy program. Let's be clear. Some of the same elected Republicans or members of Congress who were strongly opposed to giving relief to students got hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Okay, so he wants to now talk again. He's still pointing fingers at whoever, and nobody has time for that. But even with the PPP loan, why aren't you telling us about it? Like, we knew about the PPP loan during the second round. Everybody in the streets knew about the PPP. But when the PPP loan first came out during the pandemic, it wasn't for us. I'm trying to tell you, like, this system is not meant for us to succeed. So usually when they have stuff like that, when new shit pop in and things like that, understand we will be the last to know. And I'm saying we, as a people of color, minorities, low income, all of us, right? The lower ones on the totem pole, we're going to be the last to know. because who gets first dibs is always the 1%. So the 1% knew about the PPP loans before we did, right? But then when it trickled down to us, then we were all excited because the PPP loan was like a pot of gold for a lot of us. And then some people just didn't know how to react, whatever. We know what happened. Some people went to jail, some people, whatever. But there was no guidance, there was no direction. It was just like, boom, PPP is out here in the streets, get this money. You understand? And he said here pointing fingers at people, but at the same time, you did not guide us like you probably guided the 1% before the PPP even came out. But whatever, like I said, I digress.
For themselves to keep their businesses open. Several members of Congress got over $1 million, and all those loans were forgiven. The hypocrisy of this I find stunning. I supported that program, and I support the student debt program. My administration will continue to use every tool at our disposal to help ease the burden of student debt, so more Americans can be free to achieve their dreams. It's good for our economy, it's good for our country, and it's going to change their lives. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, questions on Speaker McCarthy, if I can. Speaker McCarthy, then Speaker McCarthy said that the two of you hadn't spoken directly in a long time. Why is that? And are you committed to engaging more regularly with the next House Speaker?
Okay. All right. So I'm a end that right there because, like I said previously, he starts going into if they start asking him about something else that has nothing to do with the student loans, it's almost like they don't care. So yeah, let me know what y'all thoughts are. I want to know if anybody out there had you gotten your student loans forgiven. I know people were on a waiting list at some point. People were frustrated that they didn't get that $10,000 forgiveness. Did you get the $10,000 join? Did it help you at all? Did you get your student loan completely deleted? Were you one of those people that have been paying every month for 20, 30 years and they never discharged your student loan and then eventually they did? Let me know in the comments what's up, like what happened with you, what your personal experience was, and what are your thoughts on this $9 billion, right? This $9 billion layout join. Let me know what you think about it. I call bullshit. Like I just anything government related, credit related is bullshit. Like why now are you gonna forgive all these student loans? What's going on? And in my opinion, what's going on is the whole credit system has changed. The whole banking system has changed. How everybody decided to move during the pandemic changed, right? Everybody and their mom became an entrepreneur. People got fired and they still needed an income, so they were forced to become an entrepreneur. So that meant you were forced to fix your credit and try to get business. I have a client now. I was talking to him and his girlfriend earlier. He left his job during the pandemic and created a multi-billion-dollar business. And he learned his credit, fixed his credit, and did what he needed to do, right? So if you're removing your student loan and it could have helped him or can help you, that's not a good thing. But anywho, usually when something like this is going down, it's because of other issues. They're not going to just toss this money out the window for nothing. This is not because they love you as a citizen. This is because they got other shit up their sleeves. You don't forget there's still that FICO 10T. There's still this FICO 10T. And the 10T, as you know, goes back 2 years. 2 years. So yeah, your student loan is just discharged and forgiven now. Make sure that updates on your credit report, by the way. But it's not going to matter if the FICO scoring system keeps going backwards in time. So think about it. Think about it. It's still going to be hard for you to get approved for a house, to be approved for a car loan, for credit cards and things like that. It's still going to be difficult. It's just in a different light. But again, I think it's just a political move, in my opinion. I know those that have been frustrated with their student loans being on their credit and having to pay. It's like a relief, and that's all you care about. So that's cool. That's cool. But keep in mind, for those that don't have your student loans forgiven, get on an income-driven repayment plan. Make sure you're saying what needs to be said and doing what needs to be done to make sure you have the lowest monthly payment possible for the rest of the life of the loan. In the meantime, I'm gonna let y'all go. Hopefully this was helpful. And it wasn't too long. I thought it was gonna be that long, but I forgot that he started talking about Ukraine and all that shit. So I was like, well, we're gonna be here for this too long part. But yeah, you guys have a good one. Take care. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. Look forward to more reaction videos. If you want more on particular topics, leave a comment so I can take care of that for you. But in the meantime, good luck on your credit journey. You guys take care. Bye bye.